If your period is a mess and you have thyroid issues, you're going to want to listen to this video. What if I told you that your thyroid could be sabotaging your period without you even knowing it? Your persistent period cramps, those heavy flows, and the irregularity that you've been told was just something that you had to deal with, or the worst advice that providers keep telling us is to take birth control just to manage the pain. Today I'm going to break down the exact connection between your thyroid and your period that is rarely talked about, and the first steps that you can take to finally getting your period back on track. If you're struggling with painful periods and thyroid issues, then this video is especially for you. I see you popping the painkillers and wondering why your body is working against you, especially when you're dealing with brain fog and fatigue and all of the classic thyroid symptoms that's rarely talked about. So I got my period when I was 12 years old, but it wasn't until I was 18 when things went sideways from the many years that I was dieting. I was a teenager dealing with irregular periods, debilitating cramps, and flows that were so heavy. I remember they made me feel nauseous and made me want to vomit almost every month. So this isn't normal for a woman to deal with this type of pain every month. And yet there I was thinking all of this was normal until I hit my late 20s. So even when I was diagnosed with Hashimoto's years later, not a single doctor out of the handful that I saw mentioned this critical understanding between the thyroid and our hormones, specifically our menstrual cycle. No one mentioned how the dysfunction of my thyroid was impacting and causing so much pain in respect to my period. Not my family doctor, not my gynecologist, or the endocrinologist, even though I had asked. And it wasn't until I learned about the nutrition and the science behind everything that I started to alter my approach to healing that involved both science and listening to my body. And that was when things finally started to change. That's when I developed my approach using science, soul, and self-trust that not only transformed my thyroid, my periods, but my entire relationship with my body. This is what most women with thyroid disease don't realize. Your thyroid hormones are orchestrating your menstrual cycle. This is exactly what is happening according to science. Your TSH, thyroid stimulating hormone, indirectly regulates your menstrual cycle by affecting something called your hypothalamic pituitary gonadal axis. Essentially, this is your reproductive system. That's why when your thyroid is dysregulated, you're more likely to experience something like PCOS or dysmenorrhea, painful and heavy periods. But yes, hyperthyroidism or hypothyroidism causes a train wreck of hormones associated with your menstrual cycle. So when your thyroid function is off, it disrupts the production of something called GnRH. And this hormone is so important. It helps regulate both FSH and LH. These two hormones are what signals your ovaries to release the egg during ovulation. And not to mention that cascade of a train wreck involving estrogen and progesterone. Everything is chaos. When this hormonal process is interrupted, your cycle becomes painful and irregular. This is why treating just your thyroid alone or just your period alone doesn't work, because these two pathways are interconnected, involving your endocrine system, and need to be balanced together. When you're battling brain fog from hypothyroidism and period pain so bad that you can't even get out of bed, it's definitely not just physical anymore. There's so much emotional and mental turmoil that is happening. It's ultimately depleting your emotional and your mental reserves. And you deserve extra compassion for battling this alone without the support of your doctors even mentioning this interconnection between the thyroid and your period. Let's talk about what you can actually do about this. I'm not going to overwhelm you with a complete lifestyle overhaul. I'm sure that's the last thing your nervous system needs at this moment. Instead, I want you to focus on these 3 practical steps that will support your thyroid and your menstrual cycle. Start with a food and mood journal. Track everything from your symptoms, food intake, hydration, energy levels, bowel movement. The intention here is about gathering data on what's going on with your body so you can make more informed choices on what you can do in terms of lifestyle and nutrition moving forward as you navigate this healing journey. And let me share right here, I get that tracking can be overwhelming, as if it's just another thing to add to your laundry list of to-dos, but I encourage you to try. Second, adapt your movement to honor honor your cycle. This is not about cycle syncing workouts, which is about structuring your workouts according to each phase of your menstrual cycle, which can be just as effective. However, with exercise, I suggest the approach of listening to your body, and this is why. Listening to your body is more effective if you are dealing with a painful menstrual cycle that is also irregular, where it's hard for you to tell when and where you are in your cycle each month. This is where the food and mood journal can help you make those informed choices on how to structure your workout according to what your body needs each week. Listening to your body is about being intuitive. It's about exercising smarter, not harder. And I promise it becomes easier to be intuitive with your body the longer you start tracking using a food and mood journal. And lastly, and this is very important, is identifying your stressors and creating a game plan to manage the stress. As you may know, your thyroid and your menstrual cycle are stress sensitive. Be aware of your stressors, and then work on diffusing the stressors when and where you can so it's less of a trigger on your cycle. First, identify the stressor, then get analytical about how you can diffuse. If the stressors are out of your control, like worldview politics, then what stress management tactics can you commit to that will help bring down the stress? It's important to remember that healing takes time, so give these adjustments at least 3 cycles before expecting significant changes. If this resonated with you, I would love to hear your experience in the comments. Are you dealing with painful period problems? What has been your biggest struggle? If you're ready to dive deeper into healing your hormones, there's a link in the description to book a free call with me. And there is no pressure. It's really just about having a conversation for you and I to understand what you are going through. Bring your questions or whatever is weighing on you, and let's get you some clarity. Be sure to like and subscribe. I share new videos every Saturday with practical tips that work in real life. So let's recap what we covered. Your thyroid and your menstrual cycle are intimately connected through the hormonal pathways, and healing requires addressing both pathways simultaneously, involving lifestyle, nutrition, and stress management. And remember, because healing is never linear, some cycles will be better than others, and that is okay. You're not failing, and there is no need to be reaching for perfectionism. Your body is constantly communicating with you, and learning to listen is the greatest act of self-trust that you can practice. You deserve to live a life without dreading your period every month, and with the right approach that honors the science of your hormones and the soul of your unique body, you absolutely can. I'm living proof of it. I'm Sharon, reminding you that your body isn't broken. It just needs to be understood. Until next time.